There are a few cars out on track. Perhaps we should get out there before it gets too busy.
After the mid-season break, Formula Regional Series is back. Welcome everybody to round 7. We're here in Great Britain, and for the first time, as you can see on your screens, we have rain in a session. It is intermediate conditions for this qualifying session, and that is going to make things very, very interesting. As far as I'm aware, we have not yet had any sort of rain in a session so far this season, which will create some very, very interesting moments, especially for the drivers who might want to try and get up the order. The rain is the great leveller. We could see some surprise results here today. We have to make sure and keep an eye. Currently with ARC Vettel, who's pretty much sat in the middle of the championship. He'll be looking for a good result today. 13 drivers take the grid today, so it's a good chance for drivers the likes of Vettel to push forward and get a decent amount of points. I think maybe he'll be hoping maybe potentially for a top 5. We'll see what happens. Obviously everything is possible, and we're just hearing word, if you can see in our chat, wet qualifying, but the race will be dry. So for those drivers, probably I'd imagine quite a few of them will be going for a dry setup. However, if they wanted to risk getting higher up the grid before the start of the Grand Prix, they could go for a wet weather setup. Short-term gain, would that be long-term loss? We would have to find out. But still with ARC Vettel here, who's started his lap pretty neatly. It looks like a decent little lap purple through the first sector, but nobody has set a lap just yet.
Okay, that's all the checks complete. Ready to go.
Yeah, like we said, we haven't seen any of these drivers in the wet conditions yet. So we'll see as ARC Vettel just going over the white lines there. His lap will be invalidated, but he will not get a time on the board. You've got to keep it within the white lines. We'll go back to the Williams. See what he can do. Williams came out flying last weekend. Slight change in the driver lineup with Cheese. Instead of driving for the Williams, he's in the McLaren this weekend. So maybe not as strong of a chance to get a big result. Williams sort of fell away during the race after that front row lockout in qualifying at Austria. His Trapp sets the initial pace with 1:35.9. We'll see if anybody can beat that. Obviously Trapp leading the championship now after last round. He's going to look today to try and extend that gap. He's pretty quick as Noodle comes across the line with 1:37 flat, so just over a second off Trapp. But that doesn't mean it is a bad lap at all. You know, we're well aware that that man is very fast at the top of your timesheets right now. Smoking Cheese comes across the line, only 37.1, so the man that was so quick last weekend, only managing to get P3 on his banker lap and well over a second behind Track Racer. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 as somebody getting out of the way of me. Alfa Romeo of Matt Harris with a little bit of a moment as he came through the corner there. Style also on a lap. We've not seen much of him. Quite a few fresh drivers. Once again, there's a rotating pool of talent in Formula Regional Series. There's Shreves, who's actually on an out lap trying to warm up the tyres. It looked like he was having a massive moment there, but he's not on a flying lap, so doesn't mean anything. On the mini map there, it said Matt Harris was purple in the middle sector. I'm not too sure if that's entirely correct. Obviously, we'll have to see as he comes through the final sector. Yeah, he's a long way back. He wasn't purple. And as he comes across the line, it looks like he'll be rounding off the grid, really struggling to control that Alfa Romeo. And as he comes across the line, he sets a 1:39.5. It is not the quickest lap from Matt Harris. You can see him wrestling with his car throughout the entirety of that lap. ARC Vettel, though, has made sure his lap was valid, and he goes to the top of the timesheets. A very good lap from ARC Vettel, second time round. Now, I'm not too sure in this game, or if other drivers are experiencing the same thing, but quite often it takes a few laps for the intermediates, especially in qualifying, to get quick. So the drivers are going across the track and creating a bit of a drier line, more grip because of it. So there's potential that these drivers might be doing 2 or 3 laps rather than just one flying lap, but we'll have to wait and see. R33 Chartman on a lap now. He had a decent time of things last weekend in Austria. Actually finishing on the podium. If you remember, there was a massive spell of penalties and invalidated laps and stuff. So he managed to finish P3, which is very good. A lot of drivers, as you can see there, just going wide ever so slightly in the final sector. And as he comes across the line, it's a 1:40.5. So showing that for these cars, it is a bit of a struggle at the moment in these wet weather tyres. As we said, if you have just joined us, seen these drivers in the wet conditions as of yet, so we're learning everything, and at the moment it is still ARC Vettel who is topping the timesheets ahead of our championship leader Track Racer, which is very interesting until Smoking Cheese comes across the line with a 1:35.2. That's a good lap. That's much more like it in comparison to his banker lap. He'll be very happy with that, but we're right on board with Adam as we come through Maggots and Beckett's, just making sure he's within the white lines there. It was very, very close, and as we go through Chapel, he's taking it very cautiously in that Mercedes. Doesn't want to invalidate, wants to get a lap on the board, but you can see he wasn't pushing at all. And that's how much some of these drivers are struggling with this wet weather at the moment. And as we come through Stoke, again, it's cautious, and it may look slow, but if it puts a time on the board, that's all the Mercedes driver needs. Solid midfield driver is Adam. It'll be difficult to get some points today, but he will look for every single possible chance he can get, and he comes across and goes into P7 with a 1:37.8, just shy of the 2 Williams drivers. Next up across the line is EST, and he will be a shout for pole, an outside chance potentially. Currently sat P6 in the championship. It's not entirely true to his pace in that car. We've seen some great promise from that AlphaTauri team, both him and his teammate, who isn't actually here today. The EST does have the pace, and on his day he can challenge the likes of that man he just drove past there, Shreves, and also his teammate Track Racer. We'll see his Fusion is setting up at the moment. We'll see what he does through the final sector. wonder if he'll be closer up the grid. WCRS Fusion in that Mercedes car today. Like I said, the rain being a massive factor as he comes through the final sector and the final few corners now. It looks a relatively competitive lap, and yeah, Fusion moves his way up into P7. He'll be very, very happy with that lap so far. Much quicker than we've seen throughout the entirety of this season so far from Fusion. A lap inside the top 10, which he will be very, very happy with. Meanwhile, EST invalidated on his lap, so he pulls back into the pits, which is going to mean 7 minutes to go. The next time he comes out, it's going to be absolutely crucial for him to set a good lap. Track Racer has also invalidated his time. Adam not on a lap. We'll have a look at Chartman. We'll see what he can do. He's currently in P9 at 38.2. He'll be looking to improve on that. And it does look like he is driving pretty aggressively this lap. He will be going for a flying lap. And as you can see, we're not on board, but you can see that these drivers are starting to understand the circuit in the wet a little bit more now. And just over half of the session left to go. Will we see any improvements? Will we see any changes for pole as we come through the first sector? Chartman is only half a tenth up. He will look to improve a little bit more on that, but he's got plenty of time to do so. Come through the second sector now. A few other drivers on an outlap or starting a lap. I believe Track Racer will be starting a lap now. After invalidating his one previously, so we'll keep an eye on him, but we will stay on board with Chartman until he invalidates through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. And you have to say that's probably going to be a killer, not just in the rain, but also in the actual dry race itself. And Track Racer half a second up almost through that middle sector. This is a big shout for pole if he can have a strong middle and third sector through Maggots and Beckett's. It looks pretty neat, and it looks like he can turn that Red Bull in and it sticks. It goes exactly where he wants it to go. As we go now down the Hangar Straight, what is his split through the middle sector? We run up to the top of the hill. It is looking like a decent little lap until there's a massive slide there and he pulls into the pits. So he was improving. And a massive moment there, and then sliding his way into the pits as well. A crazy little lap there. I'm not too sure what was going on. He was on track to have a big improvement there. Whether he made a mistake somewhere that we didn't see, or if he wasn't happy with the lap, or if quite simply he wanted to pull back into the pits.
Intermediate
Oh, what best bet in the current I'm not too sure, but he does have enough time to change his tyres and come back out. ARC Vettel 4 tenths up on his previous best. This could be an outside shout for pole position. ARC Vettel in the house. He may not have the pure one lap pace in the dry. He may not have the race pace to challenge with the leaders. As it comes into the wet, it seems like he makes himself his own. We'll see what happens. We'll ride on board through Maggots and Beckett's. Pretty neat. He's taking chunks out of the curbs. He's throwing the car in. Not much oversteer at all. It's very neat. Short shifting through the gears to gain a little bit more grip. And he is 9 tenths up. He's almost a second ahead of his previous best. It is looking like it's on target to be in the 134s. This track is constantly evolving. These drivers are constantly evolving. It's going to be right until the last minute where these fast times will keep tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. But as he comes through the final few corners now, is this pole position? It does look it. He looks so neat as he comes across the line. It's 134.9. He takes provisional pole, and that's a statement to everyone else. I think everyone now knows that they need to come out and set a lap. It looks relatively quick as well. He was ever so slightly up on his previous best, as Martin's style is 4 tenths off, so he's going to need to find some time or back out of this lap. Who else is on the lap? EST is on the lap. Shreves who's currently sat in P4, but we'll focus on EST, the man who is yet to set a lap. Come through the first sector. Obviously no split on any previous bests, as he is still yet to set a lap. As we get right into the second sector, it'll be very, very interesting to see, can he keep it within the white lines? He needs to set a lap here, because time is running out in the session. Just narrowly keeping those tyres within the white lines. He's leaving nothing on the track as EST. He wants that pole position. He knows he's got it in the tank. He's got the pace. Does he have the pace in the wet? We will have to wait and see. With 2 minutes left on the timer. So 1 minute 9.2. Your mini-map lights up. He is purple through the middle sector. It is looking pretty quick, and as the traffic of the McLaren gets out of the way, we'll see what he can do as we come through the final. Yellow flag behind him. It's just drivers setting up for their lap. EST, as he comes across the line, it's looking okay. It doesn't look like a world beater. Goes across the line. It's a 1:35.5. It puts him in P3 at the moment. Meanwhile, Shreves is 6 tenths up on his previous best, so he could make an impact here as he comes across the line. 1:36.2. He stays where he is for the time being. Smoking Cheezo in P2. He is now on a lap. It's crunch time now. All of the quick drivers are setting their laps or are on their out laps ready to play. Smoking Cheese, what can he do in this first sector? He's 2.5 tenths up. This is on track now to beat ARC Vettel and take back pole if he wants back-to-back pole positions. The reserve driver was in the Williams last weekend. He's in the McLaren now. Did it in the dry. Can he do it in the wet for the McLaren? We'll have to wait and see as we come through the second sector, but he's got a lot of drivers around him also on laps. I wonder if ARC Vettel was actually on another lap or not. He may not have enough ERS yet. He's a second and a half down, but he may have been recharging the batteries to go again for one final lap at the end of the session here, but will remain focused on Smoking Cheese, who is 8 tenths up on his lap. The track is improving, and I tell you what, the drivers aren't half improving as well. Smoking Cheese looks like he's on track to take provisional pole here. You want to leave setting your laps until the last minute by the looks, because the track is getting quicker and quicker and quicker. A little bit deep into the final sector. He's got a bit of traffic in EST as we come through. EST sliding, so is Smoking Cheese. But as we come across the line, Cheese sets a 1:34.2. He set the standard. What can everybody else do? Track Racer is starting his lap now. We focus on Shreves, who is about to start his lap. The next person to come across the line will be Fusion, and then it will be, I believe, the Haas of ARC Vettel. He's a long way behind. So we'll focus our attention then to Chartman. Qualifying is up. Chartman isn't improving. He's currently sat in P7. I think he'd like to try and scrape the top 5. He's got enough pace for it. But was his middle sector clean enough? He's not throwing the car around like some of those top drivers are through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. But he is a 10.5 up. He's not on target for pole position here. However, he could boost himself up if he has a strong third sector. Maybe even punch into the 1:36. I'm not too sure. We'll focus now. ARC Vettel, how quickly is he going? No, he's a 2.5 down. Vettel is not improving. He's now going to be a sitting duck to everyone else around him. EST is 4 tenths up as we come through the middle sector. Chartman comes across the line. He can't improve his position. He stays in P7. Track Racer right behind EST as well, and he might have been getting a tiny little bit of slipstream down the back straight as we come through the left and the final few corners now. Can EST get anywhere near pole position? It doesn't look like it as we come round the final corner. Does he move up into the front row? No, he doesn't. He stays there. What about Track Racer? He's a second up on his time here. He comes across the line. His front row is not enough for pole position. What about his teammate? He's 2 tenths up, but it's not enough for pole position. That lap from Smoking Cheese looks more than enough. As Shreve comes across the line now. Does he improve on his time? No, he's a long way behind. And Smoking Cheese backs out and celebrates as he pulls into the pits. That lap was a world beater. It was good enough for pole position. He's made sure to get it. And as no other drivers are here to set a lap time, that's what it will be. It will be pole position. for Smoking Cheese. A fantastic lap for him. What a qualifying session that was. A few tiny little eyebrow raisers. Given partially due to the rain. But it's back-to-back pole positions. For that man that you could see there, it's Smoking Cheese on pole for the McLaren. It's 2 in a row now. And he's taking the European leg by storm. Track racer across the line. He will start on the front row and will look to take the lead into turn 1 with ARC Vettel with a fantastic lap to put him P3. EST lines up P4 and it's Shreves in the other Red Bull 5th. And then it's a Williams 6 and P7 with Chartman lining up P8. Mercedes are in P9 and P10 with Fusion and Adam, and then it's Banana, Matt Harris and Langsviber who did not set a lap. But boy, are we in for a very, very interesting race here at the British Grand Prix. A mixed up grid ever so slightly, but the standout drivers are where they usually are. It's going to be an absolutely fascinating race. The battle you have to think will be between the man on pole position and Track Racer, who is lining up just alongside him in the Red Bull. Strategy will be very, very interesting here as well today. And yes, it does look like a dry race, which means what do they want to do, especially those drivers on the front row? Do they want to go aggressive and go on a softer tyre at the start, pit a little bit earlier and have the slower tyres towards the end just to make sure that they get that track position at the start? Do they want to play the long game and maybe hope for a safety car, go long and play it that way, play it by ear? It's risky that way, but as we wound down now, only a few moments to go until the start of the British Grand Prix, round 7 of Formula Regional Series. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going Silverstone. Smoking Cheese looks like he's got off to a pretty decent start in Track Racer. Immediately coming to the left-hand side to block off ARC Vettel. And it looks like he's not been able to get a run, and there's a crash behind, and EST is off. EST in the Alpha Tauri. I believe he's out of the race. No, he isn't. He's kept going, and it doesn't look like he's got much damage. But what an awful start. Meanwhile, ARC Vettel diving up the inside as we come through the first century, side by side with the championship leader now. The Haas and the Mercedes, both in the slipstream. They're getting a decent run now of Smoking Cheese as we head to the back of the Kemmel Straight. What can we do? They're so close. The Red Bull's almost pushing off the track. The Wellington Straight, I should say, but meanwhile, still going side by side here. 1, 2, and 3, all passing with a fantastic little start here. But Track Racer eventually getting in front. The McLaren now tucking into the slipstream. Will we see a Vettel remake? No, we don't.
Okay,
And they play it safe until we get to Maggots and Beckett, and Cheese is still trying to go through. He thinks better of it, keeps his car intact, and he will have a go as we go down the Hangar Straight. We'll ride on board with Smoking Cheese, who will use overtake mode. No, he's not. It's that orange bar down the front straight. You can see he's not going for anything, but when he dives to the inside here, he has a little look. He's not close enough just yet. All three of those front runners, it looks like, are on the hard compound tyre, which is interesting as Vettel diving up the inside into the final few corners, and he makes his way back up into P2. A good little move there by Vettel, who was looking racy to lead. Meanwhile, further behind, Sviber pulls into the pits. I wonder if he's got any front wing damage or something like that, as the rest of the grid still fights it out. And as we do this, I will get the details up. You can see what tyre everyone's on, and interestingly, quite a lot of people are on the hard tyre. So Fusion, Langsviber both pitting. Do they have front wing damage here? Yes, you can see the front wing is being changed. But meanwhile, back up in front, AFC Vettel has already lost DRS to Track Racer. No DRS until lap 3 of this Grand Prix. And it does mean that when that does come up, he's not going to have that extra boost. Williams have had a great start here as well. They're currently P4 and P5. EST has managed to get his way back up into P10. But what an unfortunate start. We didn't quite see. It was at the top of our screens at the start of that Grand Prix. Not too sure what happened to EST. There was a bit of contact. And he was almost in the wall. continues. The drivers still look very, very close. Track Racer so far hasn't pulled away like he usually would do at the moment. Not wanting to overspend his ERS, not wanting to overspend his tyres. As you look, you can see that tiny yellow indicator, that yellow bar on his steering wheel. It's slightly less full than that man in the Haas. So ARC Vettel has got a lot more overtake mode to use. So does Smoking Cheese. So Track Racer has been trying to use it to try and pull away. Maybe an indication that he's not too confident with his pace so far. But the DRS is now activated. And as we can see, Cheese has had a fantastic run on that Haas driver. As we go now down the straight. What can we do down the Wellington straight? It doesn't look like he needs to corner Cheese already. He will take the inside line. But he's taken back P2. In a much quicker car will look now to try and chase down Track Racer. There's nothing Vettel could do about that. The McLaren was right on his tail. He's still trying to go for it though, it's Vettel. Come up the inside, yes he does. Hamilton and Verstappen moment has not happened there. They've managed to keep it clean. And Vettel re-overtakes before we go down the next DRS straight. So he's making it difficult for Cheese. He's not going to let him take the position sitting down. But it does mean though that Cheese will have the DRS straight again, and look how quickly he flies through past ARC Vettel. He's back into P2, and the hunt is now on now to try and catch up back in front. Meanwhile, Shreves and Chartman fighting hard, and Shreves regains his P6 position against Chartman. There's a lot of battles up and down the grid so far. The two Williams drivers, Lyon and Stern at the moment, not wanting to do anything. We are going to have to keep an eye as well on the drivers such as Slider behind. Straight away on that run. I'm assuming due to front wing damage. I'm not too sure. But on those mediums, he will probably be the quickest man on circuit. Slider is a very, very fast driver in Formula Regional Series, and he will make sure to push. You never know, with a safety car, he could get himself right into this Grand Prix. Could be an outsider for points, potentially even a top 5 as the race goes on. But already, Vettel, unless he's made a mistake or he's just not got that pace, he's already 2.5 seconds behind Smoking Cheese. So this really is going to go down to the battle between Track Racer and Cheese, who are already almost within DRS of each other. Cheese is gaining on Track Racer ever so slightly. These two are so quick, and at the moment they are going neck and neck in the British Grand Prix. Chartman also right on the back of Shreves. He's got those quicker medium tyres for now. They will only be that quick for a certain amount of time. Through lap 7 we go. In sector 1, what is that for? And that's for Fusion. After such a promising qualifying, he's struggling in the race. He's spun on his own accord, and he's already being caught up to get back by the front runners, not the start that man wanted. Meanwhile, the probably closest battle we've got at the moment is between the two Williams cars. Seems to be keeping it pretty clean right now, maybe playing a waiting game. You never know, they might be in contact with each other and saying, look, just string me along a little bit. Team orders might be in place, they don't want to fight each other. He's not close enough either to go for a move. The DRS is open, but I wonder if maybe he's got a slightly stronger downforce setup, because he didn't seem to gain too much as we went down the straight. We'll see if he gains through Maggots and Beckett's, we'll see if he's able to catch up. Meanwhile, that gap up in front is staying pretty much how it is. These two, you know for a fact they'll be absolutely pushing. Track Racers to try and pull away, Cheese to try and get within the DRS, and you know that as soon as he gets into DRS, what a battle for the race lead we will have. He's using the overtake mode down the straight, which means he momentarily gets within 1 second of Track. He needs to stay there. If you look down on your mini-map, those green beacon sort of circles, that is a DRS detection zone. So the McLaren needs to be within 1 second of the race leader and the championship leader. He needs to get in front. ARC Vettel after such a promising start. He's been given a 3-second time penalty as Track Racer has made a mistake there. You saw him going across the grass as we went through the first sector, and that has left him very, very vulnerable now to the McLaren behind. We are now going to get this battle for the lead. He is within DRS, and as you can see, that rear wing is wide open, which means that he will be gaining all the while down the front straight now. Smoking Cheese and Track Racer are super, super close, and they will be battling for the lead of this race any time soon. This is going to be a fantastic little battle between these two. A lot of championship contenders such as JB and such as Alfie are not here today. So Track Racer will look to extend his lead in the championship. But if he is to do that to the maximum, he needs to keep this man behind, the new boy, the reserve driver. He did it in a Williams. He looks like he can do it in a McLaren. It's pole position again. The race fell away from him last weekend at Austria. He seemed to struggle a little bit as we got through the race. Both Williams started to drop down the order. However, it doesn't look like that has happened so far today, and he will want that maiden Grand Prix win in Formula Regional Series. He is gaining all the while. He's within half a second now. It's a massive chance to get through as we finally get to the back markers. You never know, that might actually help Track Racer depending on how quickly the Mercedes gets out of the way. Yes, the Red Bull that is going to get DRS off the back marker that you saw in front just there, which will make things even more difficult for Smoking Cheese to stay in front as the back marker ghosts and gets out of the way. But that McLaren is tucked into the slipstream. He's close. Is he close enough for a move? Not yet. He's going to bide his time. He'll wait. He'll be patient. He will find a better chance to get the move done and to take the lead into P1. What a fascinating battle we are going to have between these two. These two at the moment in a league of their own. 4.5 seconds ahead of anybody. They've already lapped the back marker. They're looking super, super quick. Battle for the lead is popping up now. It's Hamilton, Verstappen-esque. It's Schumacher, Alonso-esque. It's Senna, Prost-esque at the moment. It's Cheese and Track Racer, and he's going side by side, and he just about makes the move already before we get to the top of the hill. He has taken the lead of the race. Cheese looks like he's got a little bit more pace than that Red Bull driver at the moment, and the McLaren takes the lead of the Grand Prix from the championship leader. And it seems to have rocked him a little bit here. Track Racer already almost out of DRS range from Cheese. The new boy has come in and he's shocked the old guard at the moment, and the McLaren is slowly going to start to pull away. He hasn't lost DRS just yet, so Track Racer will have a chance to claw back some of that time as we go down the Wellington Straight. The Red Bull will not be close enough to go for a move into Brooklands. ARC Vettel lost connection from the session. He has rejoined now, but it does mean that he's fallen into the clutches of that Williams behind. So as soon as he rejoins, as soon as that car stops ghosting, you know that he is going to be back on the prowl and trying to overtake Meanwhile though, we'll ride on board with Track Racer as we go through Stowe. Not Stowe, sorry, we go through Cops and now the Maggots and Beckett's complex. Gone through the green marker and he is within DRS range. McLaren ran a little bit wide there, but the Red Bull almost losing the car, and he's gone onto the grass. Unbelievable, the championship leader has completely lost the rear end. It looked like he saved it momentarily, but it's saving the car from a spin. He's taking a short trip into the gravel, but the scenic route does not get you wins, and he's dropped 4.5 seconds now to the race leader. And the man who's currently sat in P1 in the championship will be ruining that mistake. We have seen that the championship leader is not immune to mistakes. If you remember back to one of the opening rounds in Portugal, struggling to get the lap in qualifying, and then making that huge mistake during the race, crashing into the wall and retiring. After that dominant performance that he had the weekend before in Bahrain. Unbelievable, and the championship leader has made a mistake. And Smoking Cheese has pounced. He's been rattled here. You can tell he was really pushing. He had to push hard to try and stay within DRS of Cheese, but he pushed a little bit too hard. And as soon as I was talking about Cheese making that, he had a poor exit. It wasn't a very good exit at all from the man in the McLaren. He went very deep, and it enabled the Red Bull to gain a bit of time. But he couldn't capitalise on it.
Okay, be careful. I think you're going to start losing some time anytime now.
Meanwhile, Noodle is still within DRS of ARC Vettel. About half a second away now. He seems to be dropping back time. I don't think he's got as much pace as Vettel does in this race, but the longer he can stay in DRS, the longer he can drag himself up this route, the better. He will feel for it as ARC Vettel is in the wall, and there is a safety car. That will change things in this race. It is a safety car, because ARC Vettel has crashed.
Okay, overtake the safety car. Overtake the safety car. It's waiting to pick up the lead.
Haas, after such promise at the start of the weekend, after P3 in qualifying, has crashed into the wall. You saw it just at the end of that camera angle. It didn't look like the Haas was going the right way. And ARC Vettel has gone into the wall. It's a rare mistake from the Haas driver. And what this does do is bring that man on your screen right now back into contention for this win. It's a saving grace for the championship leader. It's what he needed. My oh my, is that going to punch up the grid and change the strategies? We're going to keep an eye though, definitely. What will this man do? Smoking Cheese. He's the race leader now. Whatever he does, you know the Track Racer will follow. He wants to do the exact same thing and come out on the exact same tyres in the exact same position. So it's down to this man.
Okay, slow down.
He's on the hard. He knows they can go a long way into this race. Does he pick onto the mediums and try and drag them 16 laps to the end of the race? Does he maybe go onto a soft and relegate himself to a two-stop? He does come into the pits. We're going to keep an eye now. What tyres does he go onto? Obviously, Track Racer follows, and the majority of the grid behind will follow as well. What this does work out beautifully for is Chartman and Adam. Those guys on the mediums and the softs, they can go straight onto a set of hard tyres, and it's the medium, it's the yellow striped medium compound tyre going on the car for Smoking Cheese. Track Racer follows, does the exact same thing. But as I was saying, for the Aston Martin and the Mercedes, Chartman and Adam,
Okay, go. That was
a
fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
in the cockpits of those cars. Maybe not so much Adam though, as he's just been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race in this compound.
Which he will have to serve once the safety car has come back in. But they'll be able to go onto the hard compound tyres. I was saying that. Chartman has. Chartman has. Adam has stayed out actually. That's very interesting. So I assumed that he'd come straight into the pits, but Adam on 10 lap old soft tyres has decided to stay out and not to box. The reasoning for this I'm not too sure, but it means he'll leave the grid at the start, which could be very interesting, especially in that battle between Cheese and Track Racer. What this does benefit as well is Mr. EST, who's currently sat in P9, who's been sort of nowhere in this race ever since that start. He span in the first few corners, but this could bring him right back into contention in this race. We'll see what he can do. Fresh mediums. Everyone else pretty much around him is on fresh mediums as well. And we know he's got the pace to try and push up. You never know, he's got the potential, he's got the pace for a podium here. Because the likes of Noodle, Marty Styles, Shreves, Chartman. From the likes, from what we've seen this weekend so far, they don't have the pace, and Adam does come into the pits now. So he took his time. Unless the game is allowing him to take his drive through this lap. We'll have a look, we'll see what it does, see what does happen. The safety car might actually be in at the end of this lap, so he's got to be quick about it, he's got to hurry up here. No, he does pull into the pits and he'll go on to a set of, I'd imagine, hard compound tyres. Yes, he does. Hopefully the safety car should be in this lap and we will go racing again. Once again we will see that battle between the McLaren of Smoking Cheese and Track Racer in the Red Bull. Smoking Cheese has been joining late, really into the season.
We need to stay within 10 car lengths of the next car.
He's not really in with a massive shout of winning the championship of the Track Racer at the moment. Sat in the lead on 92 points. While Smoking Cheese is 13th on 18 points. He only had one race. As the safety car is in this lap, so it's down to Cheese. When does he go? When does he bolt it and try and pull away from Track Racer? He wants to try and re-establish that gap that he has as quick as possible. As you can see here, he is picking up the speed. It is a very, very quick restart from Smoking Cheese. And there he goes. He's gone. He has not shaken that Red Bull though. It's not the perfect start for Smoking Cheese. Track Racer is right behind him. As we come through the first sector, he's so close. Is he going to go up the inside already? Yes, he is. Straight through up the inside. It's a fantastic move. Maybe Cheese backed off so we can try and get the slipstream as we go down the Wellington straight. But at the moment, the Red Bull has snatched the lead back straight away. It's a brilliant restart. It's a perfect restart from the Red Bull. And he's already pulled a 7/10 gap to that McLaren, who, quite frankly, has been caught sleeping on the restart. He's already a second ahead here, Track Racer. He does not want that same mistake to happen again. He's shaken that away from him already, and he is dying to pull away. He will definitely be using a lot of overtake mode. Be using his battery to try and pull away. But if it means that he's over a second ahead, he won't care. But I think Smoking Cheese is struggling here on this restart. Maybe he's not warmed up those tyres quite enough, because the Williams of Noodle is right on his gearbox as well. As the yellow flag in sector 2. His Fusion has gone round again, unfortunately for him. But it's not the start that Cheese wanted in the lead of the race. It didn't really look like anything could stop him. He's the quickest man on track. But that was not the restart needed from him. Driver looking to try and make his way back up the pack. He's got EST in front of him, two very, very quick drivers, fighting, quite frankly, for some very, very low points, considering their calibre and their pace on track. We'll see what they can do as the race continues. EST currently in P7, but he is gaining on the pack in front. Noodle is still within a second just about of Cheese, so it's been a very, very good restart here. And he wants to cement himself into this podium position as Fusion has retired. He pulls into the pits. He was already a long way away. 1 second of the Red Bull. The fight's going to be resumed at some point very, very soon. Both drivers, you can tell how hard they're pushing when they're really struggling through the back end of the Maggots and Beckett's complex. They've both had a few little errors. However, Track Racers was the most detrimental. But it doesn't matter anymore. We can talk about the mistake all we like. The safety part has changed things completely. And it means the Cheese got it all to do again. He's caught napping on the restart. Got to use all his skill, all his acumen to try and get past that Red Bull. He needs to use his own wings to try and get past. As the DRS is wide open, this battle will surely be resumed down the hangar straight. 4 tenths already is the gap. Track Racer, I think, has to understand that he just doesn't have the pace over that man in the McLaren for the first time this season. Track Racer is quick, but not quick enough. He seems so dominant so far. The Survivor makes his way past Marty Style. The EST is already up into P5 as well. And looks like we'll be making the overtake for P4, so he will be a big shout actually for a podium come the end of the race. With just over 10 laps to go now, we'll ride on board with the McLaren down the hangar straight. He's using overtake mode. He's gaining and gaining and gaining, and as you can see, the Oracle sign in the back of the Red Bull, but maybe not clear enough as the McLaren is not close enough to go for a move, maybe into the final little section of the track. No, he doesn't. He sticks behind for now. He's biding his time. He knows there's still a long way to go in this race. He wants to make sure when he gets this move done, he gets it done properly, he gets it done efficiently, just like he did the time previously. Meanwhile, EST has regained P4. And after that awful start, the comeback is looking very strong for EST. Meanwhile, behind Survivor and Shreves are super close. Survivor getting the move done on the Red Bull, who's on the soft tyres, so I do believe, surely, that Red Bull will be stopping by the end of the race for another set of tyres, which could be detriment to his finishing position. But this makes things very interesting, maybe not for the battle for the lead, but especially for that remaining podium position. EST and Survivor, both who are very quick. Both have sort of been nowhere in this race, and Survivor didn't set a lap in qualifying, and EST spinning on the opening lap, putting himself right at the back, but we'll focus on them later as the McLaren is right on the back of Track Racer now, and he'll be going side by side at the top of the hill. The McLaren gets the move done up the inside. He's regained that lead that he craved so much. He is back in front. There is nothing that the Red Bull can do. And he dives once again back into P1 in this race. Track Racer is only going to have a few more attempts to try and get back into the lead. He's not close enough to dive up the inside here, but he's got one more straight, do you think, where he'll be close enough to try and go for an overtake. But will it be enough for the Mercedes, for the Red Bull I should say? Will it be enough for him to get past orange and black McLaren? He's in the slipstream, he's in the DRS, the car in front is weaving. It's not enough to do anything. Survivor now, right behind EST. What can he do? Nothing giving just yet in the battle for P4. Chartman and Shreves scrapping as well. It's a decent little battle here as well. Banana's getting involved. Also, battle for P6 at the moment here, and they're going side by side. In fact, the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo side by side as we go through the tight right-hander. Yeah, the Red Bull cleverly so backs off, doesn't want to risk anything. Back in front row down the straight. Track Racer is not close enough to go for a move for the lead as of yet. Langsheimer and EST are battling. They are gaining. They are 5 seconds back though. However, if you notice on your timing screens at the moment, Noodle has a 6-second time penalty. So whereas he is on that final podium spot on track, those 6 seconds will be added to his time at the end of the race for track impeding moments. Which means at the minute that Langsviber is actually on pole, on that final podium position. These two are so close though. Trat has managed to gain that time back, and in fact, with no DRS, both of them don't have any DRS. It's a stalemate down the straight, a pure old-fashioned drag race. Track racer trying to go around the outside, he's not close enough. It remains P2 for him at the moment. Is he going to be in the lead for? These two are so close. They are neck and neck, and you know that this battle is going to be going on right until the end of the Grand Prix. It could be anybody's guess who can get this win. It could be anybody's guess who's going to turn out in front as we go through the right-hander. Track race is going to have to go the long way around the outside, but it looks like as we go through and as the camera pans, he hasn't got the move done just yet. He's side by side with Smoky Cheese into the corner. Cheese goes for the switchback. He wants the stronger exit, but it's not good enough, and it means that Track Racer regains the lead of the British Grand Prix. It's a brilliant move. He may not have 100% enough pace on track to compete, but if his racecraft is that strong, he will be more than happy and more than comfortable in taking the lead and staying there. But it's a late dive by Cheese, almost contact as we go into the corner before the Wellington straight. It's not going to help his exit down the straight, but it showed Track that he was there and he's going for it. A foot in the grass as we go down the straight, and once again, Cheese making the move back into the lead. It's McLaren versus Red Bull all over again.
Okay,
So tight between these two. No mistakes this time by Cheese. No mistakes this time by Trat. They're going to keep it super clean, super tight and super competitive as we go on through the rest of this race. So many laps left. They've got to keep it clean and they've got to stay focused for so long as we go through Maggotts and Beckett, the man behind the McLaren. We know he's made mistakes through here before. He's backed off a little bit. He knows he doesn't want to be too close to that car in front. But surely now he's gaining enough. He's going to have to go round the outside once again. They're weaving down the straight, almost making contact. He's not close enough just yet. But as we go down the hill, he's had a good run out of that corner. He's going to go the long way once again. Cheese is placing his car in the perfect position at the moment. A little bit of oversteer means that he struggles. He's going so wide through the final corner. These two are using every inch of the track to try and keep each other behind. It's fantastic. It's breathless racing between the two. But Cheese, for one more lap at least, holds the lead. Anything could change it while that's going on. ESC and Survivor are fighting hard as well, almost side by side. We went through the first sector, but finally it looks like Cheese is starting to pull away ever so slightly. New Track Racer is Noodle's got another time penalty. That's 9 seconds worth of penalty now. He's got to be careful. He could find himself outside the top 7. If he gets too far gone, Survivor and EST side by side once again. Both of the McLarens are in the wars at the moment. It's such a tight battle. It's so close between the two. But at the moment, Smoking Cheese in the lead and his teammate in P4. But that could all change in one straight. Track Racer is so close behind now, and he's had a decent exit. This is his chance. Surely he will be close enough. I do think the Red Bull has got a slightly higher downforce setup, because he doesn't seem to be able to get alongside Cheese as well as the McLaren could to him. As we come up the top of the hill, yeah, he's not close enough once again. Maybe a late lunge up the inside, no. Cheese positioning his car perfectly in the middle of the track once again. It's brilliant defensive driving by the one-time podium sitter in Formula Regional Series. EST at the moment having to sit pretty behind. Meanwhile, Track Racer and Cheese are so close. As he going to go for a move up the inside? He thought about it, but he had to catch a slide. He dived to the inside too aggressively, and Track almost lost the car completely before he even got to the corner. He's got to be careful. He can't risk. He's got 5 laps to get this move done. He cannot risk doing that. But he will go round the outside as we get to the end of the Wellington Straight. It's a long way to go. He pulls the switchback like we've seen so many times before. If you remember Sebastian Vettel against Fernando Alonso in 2014, he was able to do that so well. And so many other drivers before or since doing the exact same thing.
Don't switch it on a minute.
It's not enough for him now, but he
Don't
knows
switch it on a
that
minute.
he is right
Yeah,
behind and he's well within a chance of going through here. Cheese knows that he's got to put his car in every single position of the racetrack in order to try and keep this Red Bull behind. Once again, as they go through Maggotts and Beckett, surely this is going to be down to who doesn't make mistakes at the moment. They are both twitchy. Strat seems a little bit more fragile than the man in front, but if he can get this move done right now, he's on the outside. No, he doesn't. Once again, he can't get round the outside. Yellow flag in first section, and he's retired for the race. And there's a safety car, and there's a fantastic overtake. Brilliant sense of knowledge there, and fantastic reaction means Trap Racer dived into the pits before Cheese knew anything about it.
Right, drop your speed, our delta's too low, and we're going to take a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Adam, I think, pulled into the pits and retired, and unfortunately there was a glitch in the game which meant that a safety car was called. It's caused an ever so brief halt to our little battle, but that was unbelievable racecraft from Trap Racer. If he couldn't get it done on circuit in the conventional manner, he saw that the safety car was out and Cheese was ever so slightly past
Perfect job from you and the crew there,
the pit entry line. I don't think it was penalty worthy. It wasn't that late. Obviously the stewards will have a look at it, but I think he will be okay for penalties. But he saw it a lot later than Trap did. Trap saw it and absolutely floored that Red Bull. Swooped up the inside of Cheese, who was defending so well. He's retaken the lead. The only issue for Smoking Cheese here is that he saw what happened on the last race restart. He knows, he's well aware that Trap Racer, and we've seen it in races so far this season as well, when Trap Racer pulls off from a restart, he is so good. He knows exactly when to go. It's never too late, it's never too early. He switches it up and he absolutely floors it. Before you know it, he's a second up within one sector. Cheese has got to be so on it now. What this hasn't helped as well is Noodle with those 9 seconds worth of penalties, and because the pack is bunched up once again, it means actually if the race finished right now behind the safety car, he'd actually finish in P8, which is super unfortunate for that man. However, it is going to be very tight. What else this does as well, it brings EST and it brings Driver into the equation. They may not be fast enough to downright win, but if those two in front are squabbling, they could definitely hit up the pieces. This could be absolutely anybody's at the moment. But Cheese has to make sure that he doesn't ruin this restart. He needs to make sure he's right on top. He needs to make sure his tyres are warm. He needs to make sure that he stays within that 1 second of Trap Racer. We're going to have so few laps towards the end. We may only have 1 lap of the DRS, so it's going to be absolutely crucial to stay as close as you can. It's going to be absolutely crucial to make sure you've got as much battery in the right positions. Do not go anywhere. It's going to be a 5-way battle for the win. Trap Racer and Cheese have been fighting all race long. You could not make your mind up who is going to win this race. Whoever does, it will be a phenomenal drive. Surely, whoever it is that wins, it will be their best drive in Formula Regional Series as well. Do not go anywhere. EST and Zwiber want to get onto that podium on track as well. EST is there at the moment with that penalty, that 9-second penalty for Noodle. But if he gets past that Williams quickly, and those two in front start to scrap, who knows what can happen? It could be a McLaren double podium as well, which would be fascinating. The safety car should be in at the end of this lap.
car is in
What's
this
just
lap.
happened
When the
there?
field accelerates, remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car
Smoking
in
Cheese
this lap.
suddenly slowing, and Noodle, who's already on this 9 seconds worth of penalties, dived right into the back of the McLaren, and he's broken his front wing. He's lost front wing here. He's gotten 14 seconds now, so Noodle has gotten the 5-second time penalty for causing a collision under the safety car, and they've almost swapped positions here. They're going so slowly. What's going on with the backpack? Track Racer is gone already. He's miles ahead. There's something wrong with their game. They're both slowing down to let each other through. And what it means is that Track Racer in the Red Bull has stormed away surely with the victory of this race. It's unbelievable. I don't quite know what's going on here. Can't believe what I'm seeing at all. And now we're going to have a massive battle for these guys for the rest of those podium positions. But questions will be raised to the stewards, to Cheese and to Noodle, and to the game about what happened there. Noodle defending so hard, shutting every door. Smoking Cheese wants to get through, surely. Unless there's another rare mistake from Track Racer, surely this win is gone. But he's now going side by side with his teammate. What is going on? The man that was leading this Grand Prix for so long has dropped all the way down to P4 now. And Lance Weiber moves his way into P2. The McLaren is now 2 and 3. From absolutely out of nowhere, the lead is gone after being so close. Track Racer has had the most genius stroke of luck. The championship leader. It's had an omen from heaven. At 9.5 seconds clear, we're in the lead of this race, and he got the win. Surely, if he keeps all 4 wheels on the track, that's all he needs to do. EST is stuck behind that Williams with a massive front wing damage. So the battle continues between the two McLarens. It's Weiber and Smoking Cheese, and Cheese has almost lost it. He's had a massive back end spin. He needs to get his head back in. He's losing his head a little bit here. Driving so erratically, and now he's lost. He's 1 second behind his teammate, and that's allowed EST to get close. What's an unbelievable end, and on the penultimate lap, anything can happen. Meanwhile, behind, Martin and Charman side by side, and the Williams diving up the inside, cutting the Aston Martin off, getting the position into P8, but we'll refocus our attention back up in front. EST is right on the back of Smoky Cheese, who's already dropping even more time to Weiber. What on earth happened at that restart? Track Racer went. There was that contact between the two, and it seemed like they were both sort of trying to let each other pass. Don't know what Noodle was doing from our angle. I don't know what they could see on their screens. From our angle, Noodle was pushing his luck and trying to get in front of Smoking Cheese, and what it ended up doing was that Cheese was obviously getting in trouble with his game. And he was trying to back off and let him through, and they just slowed each other down, and then all of a sudden they're almost 10 seconds behind the leader. It's unbelievable. Smoking Cheese is still dropping to his teammate. He's lost the rear. He's gone. Smoking Cheese is done. He can't. He's lost it. He's lost his head. He's lost the rear. He's lost everything in his tyres. Meanwhile, Bananas from out of nowhere is going to come through. He's taking the final podium position. It's side by side with EST. It's a huge battle here, and these drivers have come from absolutely out of nowhere to try and steal the final podium position. As Smoking Cheese pulls into the pits, he's going to retire from the Grand Prix. Unbelievable from the man that led so long in this race. A stroke of unfortunate luck, massively bad luck, has meant that he finishes the race in the pits, but we're still going to focus on this final battle for the podium. What a drive it will be for EST after spinning off the comeback to turn right. He needs to get a podium, but he's got Bananas been so quiet all race. He's picked his moments, he's picked his chances, and now he's trying to pick a position and pick an overtake on EST. Final chance now as we go for the last run down the Wellington Straight. Side by side, there's almost contact between the two. The AlphaTauri is run wide. He gets a much better exit as we go through the long and tedious right-hander. Bananas has to stay behind for now, but he knows that if he can stay within 1 second of the AlphaTauri, he will have DRS down the Hangar Straight. 2 tenths behind. If he's that close, surely he'll streak through. He's got enough ERS. EST's got barely any. He's going to be a sitting duck down the Hangar Straight. He's had a decent run through that sector though. What can he do? Bananas is going to have to go the long way, but he switches to the inside. It's a super clever move from Bananas, but he's not got it done. EST back round the outside with a fantastic overtake. Chat Racer wins the Grand Prix. It's a fantastic win for him coming back from that mistake. 5 against P2, but across the line it is just about EST to reclaim P3. Bananas coming across the line 4th. It'll be Chartman P5, Shreve P6 due to that noodle time penalty. Williams P7 and P8. And Matt Harris will come across the line P9. What a race was that, the Silverstone Grand Prix. Late drama at the end. A glitch at the restart. Questions will be raised at the drivers and at the game. And most certainly an inquiry will be going on. But for the man on the top step of the podium, Track Racer. He didn't have the outright pace of Cheese today. He was shocked a little bit by the pace of the newcomer. P2 in qualifying, P2 for a majority of the race. But a really, really clever call to overtake into the pits as the safety car was called with only a few laps to go. Meant that he avoided the restart drama and pulled away. He took his chances. You don't have to be the quickest man on the day. You just need to know exactly what you're doing. And even though he wasn't the fastest, he was still enough to take the win. A true drive of a champion then for Track Racer, who extends his championship lead with a P1 and the fastest lap to boot. Langs Viber as well. What a race for him after not setting a lap in qualifying. Comes home P2 with an EST with a brilliant comeback drive as well. After spinning on lap 1, it's Bananas P4. He'll be very, very happy with that result. Huge amount of points for Alfa Romeo. There's Chartman 5th, Shreves P6, who will maybe be a little bit disappointed considering qualifying. It's Williams P7, P8, Noodle. Maybe more penalties to come after the race. Matt Harris P9. Smoking Cheese was allowed to finish, but Adam, Fusion and ARC Vettel all retiring. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching once again. Please make sure to join us next week as we start to wound down this European leg of Formula Regional Series. We rock up next to the Hungaro ring on the same time, same place, next Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been Will Judd, and we will see you later.
I'm just going to put the sample drive on.
Yes, but that makes a load of noise.
Okay.